What's up, y'all? Check, check, check. Hold on. My mic. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I think you guys can hear me. I had to shut it down and bring it back up. I'm waiting for Juanita to come on. Okay, just waiting for her to come on. I had to shut the original one down and start back again, you guys. So she'll be up in here in a minute. Just give her a minute. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know it's probably lunchtime. You guys are relaxing or eating lunch or the sunshine in California on the beach. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. She's having a hard time with her link. For some reason, let me send her another link. Oh, there she is. There she is. There you go, Nene. There you go, Nene. There you go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's kind of shaky, but I hear you.
Is my voice shaky?
Yeah, I wonder if I put my earpods on if it'll make a difference.
Yeah, put your AirPods on. Let's try that.
Let's try that.
Okay, let's try that. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Stone Paxton Music and Life podcast, Stone Paxton blog. You guys know what it is. We have the incomparable, incredible, extraordinary, legendary, because I want you guys to understand. Do I sound better, Juanita? Does it sound better? Does it sound better?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Listen, you guys, I want you to understand this person that I have in my life tonight. We're going to do a proper introduction, okay? Let's do our proper introduction to Juanita Wynn because we want to bring her in correct because I want you guys to understand how important she is to the ecosystem of the music industry. Now, in the music industry, you will have tons of people that you might not ever heard of. But behind the scenes of that, there are always working elements that you don't understand when it comes to great songs, when it comes to great artists. And you're thinking these artists are probably doing all this stuff by themselves. They're not. So let me give a proper introduction to Juanita, okay? At the age of 5, in her father's church is where her singing career started, you guys. I do my interviews a little different. We're going to dig deep. It did not just start today. Share this live because I want everybody to know who Juanita Wynn is. We're going to go in real deep in her history. And then we're going to come back and we're going to end this with Angie Stone. But we're going to talk about Juanita Wynn because I want people to know because this is my family. I love her, and people need to know her history and her contributions to the music industry. So we're going in. Share this live right now to 5 other people, 2 other people. Doesn't matter. Share the live. Let's get the numbers up. We want to show her the proper love, and we want to give her her flowers now. We should stop giving people their flowers when they're no longer here, and everybody wants to talk about them and what they've done great. We have to do it today. So this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to give her her introduction. Her career started in her father's church, you guys, at 5 years old. This is why this lady is so incredible with that pen. And when I say she's bad with that pen, she's bad with that pen. She's bad vocally, but she is bad with that pen. Her career started in the church at her father's church, you guys. She is a Dove Award winning and a Grammy nominated. Oh, yeah, she's her. I'm just looking at the list. It's crazy. She's a Grammy nominated songwriter, which a lot of people don't know. I am trying to convince her to get her Grammy and hold it up, sit it next to you and caress it, finesse it, love it, because she earned it, you guys. Check this out. Let's go deeper. She was in a group back in the day with her siblings called the Wynn sisters. This was a gospel group, right? As fate has it, her songwriting skills ultimately attracted the legendary Quincy Jones, you guys. Okay, so this story goes deep because I want you to see the levels of why her songwriting kept graduating. Because in music, as artists and as producers, our job is to continue to graduate with our writing skills, graduate with our production skills, or it doesn't matter. You're not really going anywhere. Okay. So she signed with Quincy Jones for 2 years, her music publishing deal. And she went on to sign to Sony ATV Publishing for 5 years with a music publishing deal, right? It was still through Quincy Jones Productions. She wrote for Diana Ross, Fred Hammond. She also wrote for some of the other incredible jazz artists, like what was that name? That other jazz artist. You know, I'm all over the place. I'm so excited with her biography. I just can't contain myself because some of this stuff I didn't even know, and I've known Juanita for a minute. So we have Fred Hammond, we have Diana Ross, Ben Tankard, if I'm spelling that right, inspirational jazz musician. She's involved with him. Norman Brown. She wrote on a project with Norman Brown. You know, she wrote the song called Feeling That Way, Feeling the Way, excuse me. She's featured on Sultry vocals on Shantae Moore's album. I mean, this is crazy, you guys. She wrote for Shirley Murdoch. And the list is crazy. Layla Hathaway. Let's keep going. Beyonce, Destiny's Child. And ultimately, we're going to say this again. Angie Stone. Now, this is my opinion. I'm going to tell you, I don't care what nobody says. I'm giving my opinion. To me, Juanita was the heartbeat, a part of Angie's foundation. Reason why I'm saying that, because if you listen to Juanita's song structures and arrangements as a writer, I get it. Like, I always wondered some of those wonderful songs that Angie was writing. I knew there were co-writers, but Juanita has a special way of writing. So I will say, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome to you the legendary, incomparable, uncomparable, undeniable Juanita Wynn. Let's get a hand clap.
Yeah.
Let's see some hands in these comments, you guys. Let's see some hands in these. Come on, give me some hands in these comments. Show the love. Let's give some hands in these comments. Welcome to Stone Paxton. I know that was long, and I could have kept going because listen, when I hit that list, Juanita, it kept going and it kept going. I was like, oh shit, I'm reading the 88 page book. But I have to do that. I have to let people see. So welcome to Stone Paxton Music and Life podcast, blog. Thank you for coming in. Please introduce yourself besides me already giving you your flowers, some of your flowers.
All right. Well, you pretty much said it all. I'm
Uh-huh.
Juanita Wynn, and I just love music. I love writing songs that inspire people, uplift people, encourage people. You know, music is my heartbeat.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. So let me ask you a question, Juanita, because you and I have one incredible person in the music industry in common, and that was Angie Stone. I want
Mhm.
you guys to understand that the reason everything you saw going on, we're not going to get too deep into Angie today. We'll talk about her more at the end, but I want this interview to be more about Juanita. But my relationship with Angie, as far as business, happened because Juanita felt that I would be a great person for Angie to do business with. So with that said, now I see some people out here talking about Stone never met Angie. Y'all gotta be crazy. Do you understand how many concerts, how many times Angie came to Vegas? Use your brains. I knew Angie through so many people in this business. The only reason Angie and I went into business is because Juanita told Angie the greatest person that I can recommend that I know is solid is Stone Paxton. That's why we were in business. So for people to say that I didn't know Angie, I never met her, dude, y'all, this is the music industry. We all meet each other. Now, we might not all take pictures. We don't always take pictures because we know we're going to see those people again. So we don't get all caught up in it. Let me get a picture. I got tons of people, and Juanita does too, that she doesn't take pictures with everybody that she's been around. So first and foremost, understand that. Now, another thing I want you guys to understand is I want you to understand that there's in the music industry, there are a lot of writers that are writing a lot of hits that you never hear of, that you never hear of. I want these writers to get their respect. I want these writers to get the attention they deserve because without that, there's artists that would never have a hit. Without those writers, there would be artists that nobody would ever even pay attention to their songs. And Juanita, when I tell you she's an amazing writer, she's not just that. She's a lovely person. She's a lovely vocalist. And she also has a career of her own outside of her writing for other people. You've had how many hits in the UK? Because you and I have been on the UK charts together, but all in
Mhm.
total, how many charting records in the UK have you had?
It's probably like about probably three, but they
Three? I
both
think
well
no, I
three
think
or
it might be more
four,
than that.
four.
Yeah, about
There's
4 or 5.
four that
Meaning, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
charted, yeah.
And those
Cause
records, um, Do you mind naming those records and stuff? Because I want you guys to go follow her Spotify and
Yeah. Um, that yeah, it was this thing called life. Make it right was one. We need this was one. The one
the one. Well,
song
all of
called
those
the
records
a
are my
song called the
favorite.
one. Song called the one. Mm, quite a few with Brian Morgan. You know who did all the SWV stuff.
Right.
My brother Brian. Uh, there's some stuff I did. He did independently on me that kind of introduced my name to the UK. Um, yeah, there's others that I can't. Somebody sent me a picture one day. Uh, there was a person selling bootleg CDs outside in the UK,
Well,
and they had my
hold
name.
up.
They had my
Hold up. Don't tell me they had your records on their Nene. Share this live, you guys. Share this live, you guys. So wait a minute. Were you there
yes.
to see that? Did somebody call you and tell you about it?
Somebody called me from the UK and sent me a picture and saying, look what's going. Key Jam actually.
Key Jam took, and you know what? Thank you for mentioning Key Jam. Listen, so everybody's saying, well, how did you and Juanita meet? Juanita and I met through a really good friend of mine that I've known for many years. Him and I go way back. He's from the UK. We got to give him his love. His name is Key Jam. This is one of the most amazing guys. This is how Juanita and I met, you know? And so it's the circle of love is powerful when you have people connecting to all the right people and connecting people. So he was out. It just had to listen. Out of all the people, it would be Keyjam, right?
Yeah.
You know how
Yeah.
Keyjam. I could just imagine hearing him say, mate, I was walking, mate. I was outside of the place, mate, and I looked and I saw, wait a minute, that's Juanita on the CD. I bought
Yeah. Bootlegged
the
in the UK.
bootleg. Hey, it's
Yeah.
so crazy. I got a call like a year and a half ago, and it was a guy who was one of my Facebook friends, and he was in Chicago, and he bought a bootleg CD and had like four of my songs on it. So first I was mad, right? I was like, "Yeah, man, let me get the information, man. That's messed up." And then I thought about it. I said, "Wait a minute, that is free promotions. Like it's like why even trip?" I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and keep it on there. That's free promotions. My name is spreading for free." But that's always a shock when in your mind you're thinking like me on a bootleg, like
Oh,
really?
right. In a foreign country. I was like, oh, wow. I mean,
So let
in the
me,
UK. Like,
yeah. Oh well, the UK love America. They love us. They love us.
yeah.
So they're on us
I
all the
love
time.
them.
Make sure you guys share the live. Anybody has any questions for Juanita, let me know because we're going to continue to move. I got some other questions I like to ask Juanita. Listen, so as a writer, nowadays we're seeing that with these writing teams, there's 12, I almost said 30, but there's 12 and 13 writers on a song. Now, from the late 80s to 90s, where you come from and where I come from, have you ever seen these many people writing on one song?
Well, not actually in the room, but I see their names on there, and I'm like,
Oh,
what
no,
do they
no.
write?
Right. Listen, like, we get that the magical writers that pop up after a record is done. When there was only three people in the room writing, I think it's just so amazing right now that I look at credits and there's 13, 14 people on records. And I as a writer and producer, I said to myself, I was like, well, God, what's going on? Why are we having so many people it takes to write one song? Or is it that the publishing companies are signing so many writers that they got to get their money back by putting people to work? So they put them all on one song. That's still something that I'm trying to figure out. And I don't know, like, what's your analogy of that? Do you think it could be the publishing companies that are signing all these writers and they know they got to get their money back, so they're making them come together and work? Or are we just lacking great writers these days, Juanita, the real? Like, it's okay to say, are we lacking great writers compared to how we were writing back in the day?
Well, I'm not going to just say that it's the publishing companies or record companies doing that because I mean, I have been in writing sessions with major artists, and I'm not going to say any names, but I look at our credits and the other writers, we talk, and we're like, wait a minute, that's their cousin. That person wasn't it. What did they write? You know, and it's really unfair to the
Yes, it
writers
is. Yes, it is.
who work hard to give those lyrics, you know, and just because you have a bigger name than me, you take advantage and take food out of the mouths of my children, or maybe I'm helping my mother, or and that is all of that is was the case, to be honest with you, and I thought it was so unfair. I always think it's unfair, because we work hard to do those lyrics. You can give them some of your publishing, that's fine, you know, but you know it's so many different things with the publishing game. You just don't
Yeah.
even know. You don't know. You just try to be as honest as you can be.
Yes. Yes.
One thing I can say, Angie Stone, she educated me on a lot of that because I was green in the business when I met her. Even though I'd already gone through Quincy Jones Music Publishing, which, mind you, was the fairest publishing deal I ever had by far.
Now, Mr. Quincy
And
was always good, man, to people. Always.
that publishing deal was just fair. It was fair all the way around. Um, so I thought that every publishing company was going to be like that, and that's not always the case. It's not always the case. But yeah, Angie educated me on a lot of stuff, and she was another person that was really fair. She was very fair. So I can say that in publishing, just yeah, as a
She's a very
writer,
fair person.
you want to be treated right as a writer. But we're behind the scenes, and we better shut up. We better not say too much. you
You
know.
already know.
So yeah.
So, um, Congress right now we're having this issue with Elon Musk, who is trying to get this law passed that will stop these AI companies from having to pay to use songs. Now, we know it's going to be a tough fight. That's definitely not going to be able to fly. But this is what's in the play because these AI companies, if they can get that law approved, then what that means is that Spotify and Apple and all of them can also follow. So, which means then our intellectual property will not matter, and that now they've taken money out of the artists, our mouths completely, because they don't want to have to pay for the usage of our songs. So, with AI, there's an issue. So if they can get rid of it with AI, then we're in trouble. They'll be able to do that with Apple and Spotify, iHeartRadio, all these stations, virtual or physical, will not have to pay any publishing. And that's what we're dealing with right now with Elon Musk and his company trying to figure out a way to not have to pay for usage of music. What's your thoughts with that modern day attack on our industry, how we make our living, how that's our bread and butter, that's our bloodline money for our families and the future of our families when we're no longer here. What's your thoughts in as far as that's concerned when it comes to this whole AI movement of trying to get rid of having to pay us?
Well, there's a lot of things that we turn over, you know, and we because for the dollar, so we give of ourselves, our intellectual property, and there's a price tag on it, but we don't get to pay. So it's kind of unfair with a lot of things that are going on in the world. It's almost like, them deciding to, you know, raise taxes times 10. What can
Yeah,
we do?
yeah,
If you need that loaf of bread and they're telling you a loaf of bread now is $10, what can you do if you need a loaf of bread?
absolutely.
Nothing but buy that bread or get out there and protest and hope they hear you. You know, um, it's a different world we live in now, Stone. It's a different world, and I think that Um, our gifts nowadays, we have to find the monies in performing. I think we have to look for different ways to bring the income in for the our gift. And if somebody wants to take your CD, you could take it and start selling CDs live. Let people buy the hard
Absolutely.
copy again. You know,
Absolutely.
if you
The
want to
direct
hear my
direct to
stuff,
consumer.
you come buy my stuff at my show
Yeah.
because online they're stealing, you know,
Yes. Yes.
or whatever you feel is going
Yeah.
on. But if you have that CD in your hand, which you can still burn CDs, you still can, or put it on a hard drive, something, some kind of way. I don't know because it's just me in this world. It's just you in this world. We're just two people here. You know, plans are being made that we know nothing of behind our backs, and we kind of like are caught in the middle of it. So I just say, all I can say, Stone, be the you do business right. That's all I can
Yes.
say.
Thank you. Thank you,
Don't be
Nene.
that person to take advantage.
Thank
Other
you.
people are going to do it. There's nothing you can do about everybody. So
Yes.
you can control the type of person you are. You know.
Absolutely, Nene. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys, as an artist who is breaking into this business and a writer who's trying, because Nene, I get a lot of people, and I call her Nene, you guys. So if you understand me, I for short for Juanita. I get a lot of artists who are so desperate to be writers, Nene, and I try to without discouraging them, I tell them learn the business first because most of the time when you go into this business as a writer, you're going to get less than what you're supposed to get because if somebody is bringing you into this business, they're going to want a piece of your publishing. And a lot of times they're going to probably take a pretty big piece of your publishing, especially if they're putting you on a Beyonce record or they're putting you on a major artist record. Just understand that you're going to be subject to probably having to give up more of your publishing than you want to. Everybody doesn't do that, but this does happen in this business, and it happens at a very high level. Um, would you like to speak on that, Nini?
I mean, yeah, I remember at the beginning of my career in music because the way I was discovered, I wasn't planning on being a songwriter like that. The way it happened, it just kind of like was. I feel like the creator ordering my steps, but people would say, "Go get this book all about the music business and stuff like that,"
Donald
and I was
Pass.
like, "Yeah, I got the book, and it was a great book." But
Yeah.
you know what? When I got deeper in the music industry, I found out I was the only one that cared about the rules.
See,
It wasn't. I learned that the most valuable thing in this business, the most, please hear me, the most valuable thing in this business is relationships. Period.
come on.
There are people who have
Nene.
paid, already paid their dues. They've already fell on their face, skid their knee, had the mental breakdown, and all that have already done it. And if you are a good energy, then good will find you, and they'll see that in you, and they'll help you. You know, um, a lot of times when you're new in, you think everybody's trying to take advantage of you, and you think you're supposed to get a big check. Like, well, wait a minute, where's the money? Well, it doesn't always happen that quick. You do need to build relationship. You need to build relationship and be teachable. Have
Hey, say that.
somebody.
Say that one more time. Be what?
You have to be teachable. You know, we have this thing inside of us, our gut instinct that tells us when we're around a negative energy. It don't take much to long to learn that if you're spending time with a person. But when you're in the midst of somebody, if you spend some time with them, if you're with a negative, you know. Um, but I thank God, I can't say it enough, for the years, 22 years of being able to reach out to Fred Hammond, reach out to Angie Stone, for whatever, or different ones, or you, Stone, Paxton, just different ones to be able to reach out and say, hey, I got this situation. What do you think? And they give you, you know, true, honest, good advice from experience. So I've learned that this business is more so based on relationships. And yeah, you do
Yes.
need to learn the numbers, the publishing. You got to cover yourself. But ask questions, talk to the ones you've built relationships with, and be teachable.
You guys heard that keyword relationships. And I said in one of my videos that relationships are a vital part of the music industry. Anybody trying to break into the film and music industry, relationships are a vital part. And I shared that with you guys. I said, stop destroying relationships, build, because you never know. And I always say the 6 degrees of separation from anyone related to somebody or anybody connected to somebody major. So I say that relationships are the foundation. And I said this on probably a month ago. And then Juanita and I didn't compare notes, but she gets on there and says the same thing that I said to you guys: relationships, and be teachable. As she says, be teachable. If you're not teachable, I get so many people in my inbox saying, I'm a rapper, I'm a rapper. Listen to me. Hey, yo, homie. Hey, yo, what's up? Immediately I'm turned off. Immediately I'm turned off. Or I'm also turned off on people who will come in my inbox and the first thing they tell me is how they're gonna blow me up if I help them. Yeah, yeah, help me. I'm gonna blow you up. Listen to what you said. You're going to blow me up. That don't even make no sense. Nene, listen. When I hear that one, is always the funniest thing in the world. You're going to blow me up, but you ain't blowed yourself up. So I say, well, go back, blow yourself up, then come back and talk to me, because then we can really do something. So keywords that she said was be teachable
Hmm.
and make sure you understand that connections and relationships are the foundation of this business. Because I've seen horrible artists get record deals because they were respectful, strictly on that. And the A&R was like, you know what? I like them. We're gonna make it work. We'll get somebody to train them dancing, singing, rapping, tighten
Yeah.
them up because they were respectful. Um, I do have a question for you because every artist wants to know this, because now you have everyone wanting to be either a Grammy member of the Grammy, or, Association, RIAA, or everybody thinks that they can get a Grammy like this. When there's artists that have not received Grammys that have had phenomenal hits and still haven't received Grammys. So I'll say to you, how did it feel to receive your first Grammy? And was that something that you really wanted so bad, or is it just something you wasn't worried about? And how did it feel when you first received your Grammy?
I wasn't really worried about it. I mean, it's not something I agonized over. I didn't even know uh I was in the line for nomination. I just
Right.
got a call. Jonathan Richmond called me and he's like, Juanita, we got a Grammy. We won the Grammy. I was like, for what? For what song? For what? He said, Layla Hathaway. I was
See,
like, oh, well, why ain't I there? I shouldn't I be at the
right.
Grammy?
You should have been there.
Shouldn't I been there? You know, um, so the feeling was, Stone, let me tell you the thing about the Grammy. The song that we got the Grammy for was supposed to be on Layla's previous project,
Hmm.
okay?
Yeah.
But there was some legalities, paperwork stuff, something just didn't get on. It didn't make that project. And so Layla puts it on her next project, Layla Live.
Hmm.
And the way we got the Grammy, just letting y'all know, I'm being very transparent because people think that it's just the song. But collectively, everybody who was on that project got
Voted.
a Grammy.
Hmm.
No, they got a Grammy because
Really? Oh,
the
yeah,
Gram
yeah. That's what people don't. Yes. Please
the
explain
Gram
that so they
yeah,
understand.
the Grammy came from album of the year. So because I was on the album, her project, because I was on there. I was one of the recipients, you know.
Yeah.
But people didn't know that. Some people really didn't know that. And I heard some people say, oh, she probably wouldn't pay for that Grammy. You know, you could. I was like, shit, Layla didn't go pay for this Grammy. The project was bomb. It was amazing. You
It
know,
was an incredible project and still is.
yeah. So that once again has to do with relationships.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? To even still be
absolutely.
on there. You know, God bless Layla. I've said thank you so many times. I'm like, Layla, I appreciate you, you know, um, because that was a good stepping stone just to be on the project for
Yes.
me as a writer, you
Yeah.
know, to be in the room.
To be the fly on the
So
wall with the pen.
absolutely. And the song fit her perfectly. It's called This Is Your Life. Y'all go find it. Go listen to it. It's amazing.
It's a
Layla's
great,
killing
the
it.
whole album is a great album. And that song is, I love that song, but I can hear you in that song.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys, listen, go and go to Spotify and put in Juanita Wynn and make sure you guys follow her Spotify and download her records on iTunes, man. Trust me when I tell you, when you hear her, you're gonna understand why her phone rings for people asking her to write records. She's just super incredible. Also, let me say shout out to my partner Meech. He's not here. Meech is not here, but he's in the comments. he's in,
Hey
you know,
Meech.
Meech.
He's
Meech Juanita
hilarious.
says hello. CC, let me see if I can. CC, I'm trying to make you a moderator too, CC. I'm gonna see if I can do it on here, CC. I don't know if I can. StreamYard will allow me to do it on here, but I will add you today. I'm sorry, because we're gonna go live later. So let's get back on Juanita. So you know how I always talk about you as an artist. I always encourage you to keep doing what you do. I encourage you to be you. Uh, Even when Angie was alive, I always said, "Girl, listen." I say, "Come on now, you got to drop that record, Nene. You got to focus on you too, Nene. I know you touring with Angie, but you got to, because I believe in you. I believe in everything you are. But more so, let's go deeper than your writing. As a
Hmm.
person, you're phenomenal.
Thank
Minus the
you.
writing and all the glitz and glamour of the music industry, you're a phenomenal person. You're a real person. And if you ever want to understand us as writers, I will share something with you guys. You ever want to know a writer in their life? Go listen to their music. Just go listen to their music. If you don't understand them, you will understand them if you go listen to their records. You'll get it then. Juanita is one of those persons. You want to know her heart, you want to know her personality, go listen to her music and you will never say anything else. You completely understand her. Hey, share this live, you guys. Share with artists. Share this live with inspiring artists right now, inspiring writers. I want them to hear her speak. I want them to know who she is. They can learn something today. So that's what I love about you, which is why I pour my energy into always pushing you as a artist too. The writing, you already got that down, but you're an artist too. And sometimes, as I know me, when I was signed to all of the different publishing deals that I had, what I found that happened to me was I put myself aside. I literally went probably 10 or 15 years focusing on other people and forgot about me. And then I started thinking those 10 to 15 years, I could have focused on, those could have been 15 years of records on me that have been part
Hmm.
of my catalog. So when I see you, I think about myself and I go, no, I'm not going to let her do that. And I know you spent years of giving a lot of your energy to writing for people, touring, background vocals, and we can get lost in that. We can get
Hmm.
lost in doing those things for people and we forget about ourselves. Me being a member of the Rick James Stone City Band, me leaving the group, I mean, men fight. You have your differences in the group. Uh, I left because I knew it was taking a lot of my time. I knew that the more energy I gave to that, the less energy I was going to be able to give to my personal career and cutting records. And sometimes we just got to go, you know, um, You know, and that's the story of all writers. You get caught up in touring and singing background or playing with a band, and then you look up and you spent 5 years that you didn't get to focus on yourself. So understand, you guys, it's not easy being a writer and being in demand, because Juanita's in demand. When I say she's in demand, her phone rings all the time. But she deserves her flowers, but she also deserves for people to respect her. And financially, as writers, we have to make sure, and producers, that we spend our time chasing our money. So to educate the younger generation wanting to get in this business, let me explain to you what happens,
Hmm.
and she will confirm to you. We spend our time chasing our money because a publishing company can sell the publishing to another company, and sometimes we don't even know about it. Am I lying, Juanita?
Man, I could tell you some stories. Yes,
And then we got to
yes.
go chase where our songs are at, because it's not like they send you a letter in the mail saying, hey, Stone, hey, Juanita, the publishing has been bought by a third party company. Now we got to go chase where that's at. Then we have to chase. Sometimes the publishing is in one place and the mechanicals is in a different place. So now we got to track down who has the mechanical rights, but who bought the publishing rights. And it can be a crazy doozy on your head. It's time consuming because you calls after calls, and they'll tell you, well, we don't handle that. You got to call that person. Then you call that person. They'll say, well, we don't handle that. You got to call Bobby. And it's a cycle, and it's discouraging to writers and producers, which is why you'll see writers and producers ask for a lot of money up front, because they know typically with an independent artist, they're going to have to chase their money. If I got to get paid from that independent artist, I know when the royalties come in on the mechanicals, if they don't have a split sheet set up and for my money to go directly to me, I'm chasing my money. I'm chasing my money. Either way it goes. Even with the major labels, same thing applies to independent artists that comes to me or Juanita and says, can you write this or produce this? We already know we got to chase our money. So we're asking you to pay us up front. Me should tell you the same thing. We need this much money up front because we already know we're going to have to pick up the phone and be like, hey, man, that record was kind of a hit. Or, hey, what's going on with our mechanicals? What's going on with the publishing? And we don't want to do that. So that's the reason we ask for as much money as we can get up front, because we already know two things are going to happen. We're probably not going to see our money on the back end, or we're going to have to chase it. You want to speak on that, Nini?
Yeah, an independent artist is tough. It's tough to break. So, they'll tell you, I'm gonna give you points, or I'm gonna give you, that, knowing what I know it's a gamble. So I try to say no to that. That back end money. If you have a deal already with a major, you know, that's even sketchy. If you're a new artist, because you might not ever come out, they could record a whole album on you, and I've gone through this, a whole album on that artist, and that female artist gets pregnant, while she's recording, and the label drops her, and those songs never come out, you know. Or if it's a major artist, that's well known, then you can kind of get your something in the front, something, on the back end, however you negotiate it. But yeah, it's but back to that publishing thing, chasing your publishing. I have received my royalties before from the publishing, BMI, or it could be whoever you're with, BMI, ASCAP, whatever. But this particular one, I saw names of songs I never wrote.
Do y'all hear that? Say that again.
I saw names of songs I never wrote, and I was like, "What? What's that song?" And I didn't get money for it, but it was in my catalog. I mean, saying this is your royalty. This is what you make this year. I mean, this quarter. This is how many songs that were played on the radio, and this is what was paid. I, I didn't write those. I didn't
I hope
write
you
them.
guys understand what she's saying. If you guys get what she's saying,
So
she's
I
saying,
call.
mm-hmm.
I call, and it's like, oh, probably a mistake or whatever. I'm like, that's weird.
It's very
So
weird.
yeah.
There's somebody
Mhm.
sitting around wondering where their money's at. So in this business, in the publishing game too, you guys understand that a lot of times what's happening with companies like um, Sound Exchange, there's people that will go in and actually try to claim artist royalties, or Sound Exchange and other companies will actually make a mistake and send people's royalties to the wrong person. This happens every single day. You'd be surprised. I know some artists that are getting checks of major label artists and they never even wrote on the record. I don't even know how they're making this mistake, to be honest. It's like they're not even cross-referencing with the songs and the metadata information. I don't even understand. Where'd she go? Somebody must have tried to call. Ignore that call, Nene. You there, Nene? Hello? If you're there, click that link back on if you got knocked off. But if somebody calls you, it's gonna affect the live because you'll end up having like an echo. There you go. What happened? Somebody call you?
Yeah, honey.
Yeah, they tell them to stop calling her. She on a live, y'all.
Can you hear
Um,
me still?
I can hear you. That was perfect because usually what happens is there's an echo after a phone call comes in. That's why we have to ignore those calls.
Hmm.
Yeah, you guys. So that happens in this business. Um, Another question for you. Do you think two things? We'll ask one question, ask the other question. Do you think the music industry is done? And I have an answer to that. But it depends on how you answer. Or should I say, do you think, because I know YouTube is funny about the word, that word. So do you think the music industry has come to an end as an industry as a whole?
Well, I think that because uh, so many artists are doing it on their own
Yes.
independently, and they're not just depending on the labels anymore. They want to keep their own money. They want to do it their own way. And the social media and the internet has afforded independent artists the ability to do it on their own. All you need is distribution. Somebody that will say, "Hey, I'll help get your stuff out everywhere." Um, and then you don't even need that if you don't want to. You can just sing all over the place, go different places, and sing and sell your project. You can set up yourself to go from state to state and hit all the open mics and say, I have product if you want to buy it.
Listen, you know, you're sharp. You get it. This is what back in the 90s, when I came to Vegas, I remember setting up my record label. And I was already a young dude and I already had a publishing deal. I didn't really supposed to be running my own label under my publishing deal, right? But I did it anyway, right? But I was signing acts, producing them, putting them out. And that's when it was brick and mortar. There was no digital, there was no Spotify, none of that. You literally you were cutting the record, you had to press it, get it in the store. I was calling 200 stores across the country, mailing my artist records on consignment, and then they would send paperwork back, and we would send it back. And then when it sells, they would send me a check back. I was taking my artists, any of my artists in here watching, they'll tell you, I would take them on the road, I would book their shows. I mean, I was doing it all. I was the producer, the writer, the arranger, the manager, the tour bus driver. And I would take them on the road, get them shows. We would do all kinds of stuff. We go city to city. We do all kinds of venues, and we would sell the product. Now, I've been doing that for so long. It's amazing. I sold so many records as a label out of Las Vegas. My label was one of the premier record labels back then. I probably had 300 clients in my studio back then. And that was my model. So you really had to get it back in the day, or you wasn't nothing gonna happen. Nowadays, artists have it easy. You got the social media, you have all these options to utilize to promote your music. There's no reason no artist should not be able to be successful unless they're just lazy, period. Because they'll go buy some Yeezys, but they don't see the reason to put $1,000 into the marketing of their music or get the proper producers because they're buying $25 beats and they think that's okay, but then get mad when 3,000 other producers use that same beat. So you're right. Getting back, that's called getting back to the basics, what you said. That is getting out there, putting your face to the music, performing, dealing with your customers, the clients face on with the product. Here you go. This is my CD. This is my T-shirt. This is what I'm selling.
Yeah.
This is who I am. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Because now you're forcing a consumer to engage with you. And what better way to sell the product if they hear it, see it, and it's in front of them, as opposed to me sending you my YouTube link or Spotify saying, support my music. You know what I'm saying, Juanita? Support my music.
Right. Exactly.
You feel me? So it's back to the basics, artists. Juanita knows because it's what she's doing. It's what I've been doing. It's really about getting out there and getting in the trenches as an artist, moving forward with your product and making no excuses and investing your money. Don't expect for nobody to do nothing for you in this business. Because believe me, if it comes free, there's a huge price to pay for it. Put your money, get your credit good, go get a loan from the bank for your business. Don't expect for nobody to do anything for free. And if you do get it for free, make sure you're respecting their time and that you understand the business part of it. And you're showing up when they say show up to the studio. You're respecting that relationship. And if you got to pay, come with your money. Don't ask nobody to do anything free. Juanita didn't get it free. I didn't get it free. Meech didn't get it free. None of my camp. My circle, Rufus Black didn't get it free. None of us got it free. We came from a time where we busted our butts just to get noticed that we are writers or we were artists. Juanita doesn't give herself enough credit, but she's just as good of an artist as she is a writer. She's phenomenal. As I'm sure most people that went in here have listened and heard her already. Now, does anybody in have questions for Juanita? And you guys share this live, please. Share this live. Does anybody have questions? We'll take some questions before I get back to asking her. Whoever D. Scott is in these comments, somebody saying D. Scott is probably Jaguar, right? If it is Jag, let Jag listen to Juanita spit the music game. I mean, Jag does know the music game, but we can't assume that that's Jag either, you guys. We can't assume that that's her. Does anybody have any questions? Pose your questions now for Juanita, please. Somebody said, can you ask Juanita how was the transition from J Records to Stax, where Stax is where Angie got her Grammy, not J Records? So this person, Kim Yo Marine, said, how was the transition from J Records to Stax and where you and Angie?
Yeah. Yeah, she went Colin, can't remember his last name. He was over Angie. He was the A&R for at Stax at the time when we were working on her um the Art of Love and War, I believe, project. And it was just a transition. I mean, I didn't feel it. Angie did. She probably did for one reason or another, but I didn't feel it because the work never stopped. She was still trying to write. She's still doing what she did, you know, and she was used to going from one label to another. It's just like publishing, going from one publishing deal to another publishing deal. You're grateful you got another one. That's all. Or football. They say you get traded. Sometimes you get traded. you know, hey, so you with another team. You just keep going. Just keep going. Be glad somebody wanted to pick you up. You know, if that's what you want. So.
There's another troll. White milk. Get rid of white milk. That's probably Jags trolls, you guys. Get rid of white milk. These people coming here they be saying some weird. This internet is weird. Oh, and you guys also that made up Stone Paxton page. We already have one of my guys who works for Apple Tech way at the top. In the corporate side, they've already checked into where that person made that up. They actually know what city it comes from and actually the location, the geography of that location. They know who it is. We already know who the person is that made that page up. So if you're out there still rocking the page, surprise, surprise, it's coming, baby. Better believe that. Okay, any other questions? Let me see. Somebody else said this. Thank you, Juanita Wynn, and welcome to Stone Paxton CC. Give me your questions, you guys.
Thank you.
Dick Scott, somebody named Dick Scott said, "You're known for stealing music." Who are you? We don't even know who you are. Known for stealing music. Who are you?
Who's that?
Dick Scott. Yeah, block Dick Scott. Somebody said, "Tell the people why you didn't attend Angie's funeral." Y'all want to know why I didn't attend Angie's funeral, Dick Scott? Because it was so much. Oh, are they asking me or you? Because there would be no reason I'm
I
jealous of.
I can
Juanita
I
and
can
I will
say
both tell you why we didn't go. Go ahead, Juanita.
yeah, I can say why I didn't. I had booked a
That sounds like
vehicle. 'Cause
Shayna.
if it is, it doesn't matter. I booked a rental car 3 days prior before the funeral, and the I was first of all I was leery at first about going because when to register
Yeah,
for that funeral, there was a contract that came along with the registry, and it said that if anything was to happen to you before, during, or after the funeral, that the estate could not be held responsible. That was weird to me to put, and a lot of people didn't go because they were
you
like,
and I both. We talked about that too.
but I said I'm going to go anyway. I called Enterprise, I booked a vehicle, and on my way to pick up the vehicle the day of, they called me and they said, "We're sorry, we know you're supposed to pick up a vehicle today, but we don't have any vehicles. They didn't bring them back or they brought them back damaged." And so I said, "I'm going to a funeral. Like, do y'all have any more? Or, whatever." They were like, "No, we don't have any more vehicles right now, but we'll let you know." And it got to be later and later, and I needed to leave at that time because it's an 8-hour drive, you know, not to mention emotionally what I was going through, with concerning Angie passing and all that. But yeah, so that was the reason why I couldn't go because I didn't go, wasn't going to go to the one in Atlanta. I was going to the one in Columbia because it was
Yeah,
closer to me because I had just come back from Atlanta. Soon
yeah.
as
You
Angie
talked to me.
passed,
Yeah,
soon as
you
Angie
were there
passed,
for a whole week. You were there for like
oh
I think what a week when we talked
yeah,
before.
yeah, and I was
Yeah,
calling Diamond, and so much was going on.
yeah,
They didn't want to see nobody. And I was like, okay, I can't spend all my money right here. I don't have nowhere else you know, to go if
yeah,
I'm just around here. And
yeah,
so I had just drove all the way back. So I'm like, I can't turn right back around and go again. And, you know, my car still needed some tires. It's just I didn't want to
yeah,
risk that.
yeah.
So I was going to
It
go to
was
the
a
one in
crazy time
Columbia.
for you. It was a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
crazy time for you.
Yeah. So that good question though, because you want to know if why didn't her friends show up?
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at that question, but I'm glad they asked so I could tell you.
They asked me the same question. Hi, boss lady. Is that MRSJ? The reason why I didn't show up, and here's the honest truth, is because I did not want to get on the airplane. Now, on top of that, as I started to see the drama unfold, I felt like it was meant for me not to go because there was a lot of drama. So I did not go. And that's the reason I didn't go. I didn't want to be on an airplane for one, which is why the reason I'm going to tell you something deep, which is the reason why I had told Angie I was going to come out and check out 3 of the shows. So I text her 3 of the shows in her phone. I text her the ones from what's that club? The jazz club. The jazz club, Juanita, damn, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Let me look at my phone. I'll tell you right now. This is what I
The
text
Jazz
Angie.
Camp.
Yeah, I text her the dates, right? I text her the dates of the shows, just showing her which ones I was thinking about coming to check out, right? So I
Mhm.
sent her, let me look at it. Hold on. I'll tell you right now because it's still in my phone. I sent her these dates right here. Hold on, where they at? Because I was like, maybe I'll check these dates out. And then I told her on the phone that I might just come to the date that was down south. That was that one date. She said, "Are you really coming, right?" See, these are the dates I sent her right here. I sent her those dates, right? I said, I'm gonna check those out. So these the ones at Yoshi's.
Yeah.
This is what I text her. This is actually in the phone. I text her that on, what was that? That show in Alabama was when? The 28th or something like that? 23rd or something. Anyway, I text her that on the 20th, you know. And then I end up talking to her, telling her I might just come out to that show. And I felt bad because I didn't want to get on no plane. I should have just told her, you know what, Stoney, I don't, these planes is freaking me out. But I didn't. I kept having her think I was going to come to that first show. Now, here's the weird part, Nene, is maybe it wasn't meant to be because you usually are on the road with Angie. You're usually always on the road with her. You didn't show up to that show because you were going to come to the next show, right?
I was moving.
Oh, you were
Me,
moving.
me and Angie were talking because we were trying to prepare for the residency. And
Yep.
I told Angie, I said, maybe, I'll move to Atlanta. We'll do
Right.
some work and I'll be there. We were getting ready to work on Angie's Black Diamond 2.0. I told
Yes.
Angie, I said, Angie, do your 2.0. You need to do Black Diamond again 2.0.
Right.
Go back to that. You are the blueprint. You don't have to try and do anything different. You could just do you. And we were talking about that. She was like, and I want you to get in the studio with Diamond. And we talked about that and do some writing. She wanted my daughter to meet Diamond because my daughter writes too. And, we were talking like that, but I had to solidify and close some things here first. And I was waiting for the residency so I could make those moves, you know?
Right. Right.
So it just didn't happen like in the time period or time frame that Angie and I
No,
thought it would.
I
So
know, man. And it would have been, and speaking, that was the reason. So you guys understand that was a reason Juanita wasn't at the show. Other than that, Juanita would have been at the show. She would have been one of the background vocalists. She would have been in that band. She would have been there. That's why Juanita wasn't at that show. Because people have asked me. Now, we're going to speak on the residency because Juanita and I can speak on the subject of this residency.
mhm.
Juanita had this great idea when herself and Angie and I would be on the phone, we'd be talking about the residency, and Juanita had a great idea. She said, well, we can do some, remember you said Sunday brunch with gospel artists. I thought,
Sunday,
I said,
uh,
great.
soulful Sundays. But you see, Angie and I were talking about it, and Angie was talking about how she wasn't able to tour like she was used to. And that's before she found out what was going on with her blood, whatever. She wasn't as well. And I
Yeah,
told Angie, I said, the idea you have is a great idea. You don't
yeah,
even have to be there all the time. And I can call Stone and try and see if we can get you a residency. And that way you can introduce new soulful artists, Lucky Day, different ones, and make it where there's different artists coming in regularly. And I can do soulful Sundays where there's a lot of inspirational gospel artists that are very soulful that don't get their just due. So I wanted to be over that on Sundays. And Angie was like, we gonna make it work and then all of a sudden this person shows up named Shayna, and
yes,
things start to change.
yes,
Things start to change. I don't know what she was telling Angie. All of a sudden, she was questioning because we had just done
yeah.
the Christmas project. I don't know. I
Mhm.
hope my battery stays good.
I hope
But
you're
I had
back.
just done the Christmas project.
Yeah, yeah,
So we were trying to just, kick off from that and do some more things. But I mean, just things just started getting weird, and I didn't have control of that, and I didn't
right.
want Angie to think I was trying to tell her what to do with who and what. So, but just things started changing. So,
Even in the time that we were putting together everything with the collection of her publishing, all that stuff that was onto it in the residency, there was dynamics of weird stuff that was happening with this Shayna girl, because you were involved in all of our phone calls initially. And even that Shayna girl got in Angie's ear and messed that up. I mean, it was weird. Like it was just, we were literally in the middle of always talking. And then one day it was like, we don't need Juanita on the phone, but we already knew that was Shayna that was spitting in Angie's ear to try to poison your relationship with Angie. We already knew that's what it was. You and I had already compared notes that that's what it was. I want you guys to understand that Angie had a lot of moving parts in her life, a lot of moving parts. We were, and Juanita has been with Angie since 2003 from now or longer, a little bit longer. So
Mhm.
she knew Angie, you guys understand that. She knew Angie. There's nothing anybody can say to throw out a narrative when she was with her all the time on the road. And if not on the road, on the phone. And she'll tell you when Angie get
Yeah.
on the phone, it was 2 to 3 hour conversation. They were never no short phone calls, at least with me. And I'm sure with Juanita, even longer. You know, this Vegas residency was real. For those of you that were telling people Stone was lying, there wasn't a residency, we called, you couldn't call. And I'll say that again for those that said they called, there's no way. Because once again, how Vegas works is you can never call to find out there's a residency if it's not up on that marquee. The CEOs are not going to talk to nobody on a random phone call asking questions about a residency of any artist. Please be educated and understand that. These are private conversations and confidential until it happens, which is why, and Juanita will tell you, I never went on my Facebook, TikTok, or nothing and ever even talk. Nobody knew I was even doing anything with Angie. Juanita will tell you, I'd never even talked about it. So if I was trying to troll to get to use that to get attention, I would have done it when Angie was alive. I would have told everybody, guess what? Guess who I'm working with? Guess what? About me and Juanita. I would have did that, but I didn't do it because those were confidential meetings. Confidential meetings. And I knew there was going to be a time that Angie, Juanita, and all of us would have been sitting, and my brother at a conference table, and there was going to be a conference about her residency. That's when we were going to talk about it. And we were excited about that. We were looking forward to that. So, no, there was a residency in the works. Yes, had this had not happened, literally that next week, my brother already had a meeting set up. He was going to fly her to Vegas. There's no need for us to make that up. Just understand that. I mean, I don't hear it no more, but that's what the narrative was in the beginning. And I wanted to bring Juanita on to talk about her music. I didn't want her to be in the shadows of that situation, but I know that you guys are going to ask certain questions on this live. So this is a chance for us to clear up the things that you guys wanted to know about Juanita concerning why she didn't show up and why I didn't show up. Somebody said, posed a question. All the writers and singers should band together to protest AI. You're absolutely correct, Sunstar. You are absolutely correct. They should. We thought about creating writers unions. There's certain unions. There's the Writers Guild, more for the film side, but for the publishing side with artists, these are thoughts and meetings that I've had with different people about creating that. What's your thoughts on that? Creating a protest with writers and singers coming together, Juanita.
Um, the most valuable thing we can give is time, and I think that it's not worth it. That's just my opinion. I think that we should find ways to be creative with our own work. It's so many things that we can fight. We could find something every day to fight and go out and, you know, protest. But I think the best way to protest is to continue to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And whatever it is your endeavor is. So,
So you heard that. So Juanita doesn't think that we should come together as writers to do that. She spit her thoughts of how she feels. Of course, everybody, we all have our opinions of how we feel like we can move. Therefore, she's just giving you her thoughts on that. So we have to also respect her thoughts on that. Of course, mine could be different, but I respect her thoughts on that. I'm in between her thoughts and in my mind of like if we come together, but then if we come together and everybody's not properly aligned, it doesn't matter anyway. So I feel where she's coming from because see, you got to understand we're in the music industry where people will talk that and then they'll come together and then nobody's aligned and then it's a waste of time anyway. Captain Hollywood, Juanita said, is she Angie Stone? Dog, I want to thank you. Yes, that's the same song that Angie did that had featured Snoop on, right? Right, Nene? Can you hear me? Nene. Hello? Can you hear me, Nene? Somebody asked, Captain Hollywood said, see Angie Stone from Snoop Dogg, I want to thank you. I told them that's the same song. I think she features Snoop on, right?
Yes, she did. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank you. That is the song.
Or was it? I think it was. Or Baby.
Yeah, I want a baby. Love it. I think was it Love It When I Love You, babe, or something like that. Love It When I Love. Was that the title?
I was your baby, 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 baby,
No,
baby.
not that one. She talking about the other one. I think he was on that one too. I think he was on a couple of them.
On a couple, yeah.
Melody said she's a humble person. Yes, Juanita is. Let me tell you something. It doesn't. It just doesn't get any more humble than that. Okay. Christian Myrick said, Juanita, how did the song Remy Red by Angie Stone come about? How did you become a writer on that record? He said, Juanita.
Oh my goodness. Me, Angie Stone, and Jonathan Richman were in the studio, and Jonathan played this wonderful track. Just and Angie started just singing, sipping on Remy Red, and I said, Remy Red, as I recall you were ready and down for whatever we may. We just was vibing. That's what we did. And we did a whole tour because of that. Remy sponsored an entire tour.
Wow.
Angie Stone and Anthony Hamilton, Silk and Sandpaper tour. Because of that.
See, there you go, Brother Christian. You got it one-on-one, right? Right directly from the mouth of somebody that was involved with that record. Romina said, it can be difficult to invest in your own product when streaming doesn't pay. Romina, what's your thoughts on that, Nene?
Well, like I said before, that's very true. But you can work towards printing CDs and, going to open mics, different places, and selling your product. And and then start picking up some performances, because streaming doesn't pay. It's so unfortunate now. It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah. So you offset whatever you're not making in streaming, you offset that with your live performances, she's saying, and the physical product direct to the consumer, which is something that I've been doing for years, and I'll still do. I do vinyl, I do physical CDs, and it works. You got to make it work, you guys. You can't complain. You got to get in the trenches and make it work, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you guys like and share this. Let me get those likes up, you guys, and share this live. I'm giving you an exclusive interview with Juanita Wynn, Grammy-nominated writer, arranger, and yes, she's a producer, because part of this is production too. So we're going to give her flowers, you guys. Thank you for the donation. Who is that? Let me see. Sodai always shows love. Thank you for the $6. Gina, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Sodai, thank you again. We always appreciate all the love that you give to Stone Paxton and music and life. It's always blessings. Melody said, let me see what Melody says. They can't lose their passion. No, not at all, Melody. Let's see, any other questions? And then I'm going to ask some more questions of Juanita. These are going to be, I want to do interviews that are considered legendary interviews, because when she gets that Grammy for her original music, I can say I was the first person to have her on my podcast as an artist before she got that independent Grammy. You feel what I'm saying? She's already gotten a Grammy. She's going to do that with her independent stuff. I have a question for you, Nene. What are your, and I'm not going to put you on the wall with this, but I got to ask you, what are your favorite 4 songs currently right now? Your favorite 4 R&B songs today, right now? Your favorite 4. Notice I didn't say artist, so I just said songs. Because that way we don't have to keep it. We don't have to make it political.
Um, I like. I mean, you said favorites.
Yep. When you turn on the radio, the ones that you get in the car and you just like, ah, man, it takes you back. Only reason I'm asking you is because to me, I feel like there's a lack of writing of great songs these days. So I knew you're going to be able to pinpoint, because I know how your ears are, what is happening and what isn't.
Well, my genre of music is broad, and depends on what I'm feeling that day.
Mm-hmm.
Like um, Alex Isley has a song out called "Hands." I love it. Um, Lucky Day and
Yes.
Swim
Okay.
have a song called "Blame It on Me."
Block Old Face. We don't know who Old Face is, but get rid of Old Face. Probably. I'm sorry to cut you off, Nene. These idiots in here. Okay, go ahead, Nene.
Mm, man.
You name some. You name some tight names.
Um, Tiana Major. Yeah, I think it's Tiana Major 9.
Mm-hmm.
She has a song called um man, Jesus. I can't even remember the song and I play it all the time.
Listen, I'm the same. I'm the same way.
Oh my gosh. And it's such a beautiful song. I can't even remember the name of it. Um I can't remember the name of it. But it's
Okay.
a lot. My genre is broad.
Yes.
It's so broad. I like so much music. There's some independent artists y'all have never heard of
Yeah, that are
that I
just
have
crazy.
their music and I just play. I mean, music, you listen to music according to how you feel that day.
Right.
You know, that could be your favorite song, your favorite slow jams or up tempos or rap. Um,
Yes. Yes.
even some, I'm a big, huge Chris Brown fan.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And we just won the Grammy, my brother, for album of the year for 1111. So, yeah, Chris Brown is killing the game.
Not to mention, there's a plethora of of inspirational gospel artists that I love. A lot of jazz. I mean, I just love good music, good soulful music. I just love good music with good lyrics.
So Juanita's like me. Um, she loves music. Like when people ask me what are my favorite artists, I don't like going specifics. I just talk about the broad element of the music that I listen to, from rock to jazz to soul. And then I say my favorite songs that are happening right now, modern day. Now, if you ask me, do I think that there's some great writing right now? I say it's kind of so-so. I feel like all the better writers were back in the 80s, 70s, 50s, 90s. Maybe the 90s were the last. There's someone pretending to be Stone Paxton. Oh, I know. I know. We radared in on those people, you guys. Don't worry. We already know where the IP address is coming from. I already got my attorneys. We're moving forward on that one. So don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. It's all good. Just do me a favor. Report that other Stone Paxton page as a page that's trying to be me. Just report it. But we on it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you for that. And these folks out here trying to create pages to be me, Nene.
Same space, same space. Tiana Major 9, same space. Go look it up.
Yes. Same space. Okay. Hey, it came to you after a while.
Yeah.
Somebody said Brian Morgan. I love Brian Morgan. I think I heard Brian Morgan. I think I heard a record that was off the hook. Let me see.
Let me
Somebody
tell
said,
you something. Brian Morgan needs to do his project. He
For
needs
real.
to put something out. That man is amazing. I've known Brian Morgan and worked with him when we did the SWV. I'm the whisper on SWV's Rain, but he had me demo the whole song, and it took me 3 days. Brian Morgan taught me how to record under pressure. That's why I'm quick in the booth. This is Brian Morgan. Shout
Uh,
out to Booth.
Shout out to Brian Morgan. No, Alicia Hill said, I'm looking through the chat and have not seen a comment that you didn't. No, no. The reason why we brought that up, this is from my other videos about Angie, why Angie Stone mentioned my name. Somebody was saying that I had never met Angie, the Quiet Storm dude. He doesn't even know me, but he wants to say that I've never met Angie. Do you understand how many concerts that Angie done been to Vegas? Y'all think I've never met her? And the thing is, what if I didn't meet her? I was still handling business for her. Y'all get it together, man. Stay off of here. I mean, that not for you guys. That was for the dude that was on his channel. He wants to solve the situation with Angie, and he's getting too obsessed with it. Okay, somebody else said, Dirty Dog Jag right here going to send. Okay. No, nobody's gonna attack Juanita. Conspiracy. There's no reason for nobody to attack Juanita. She comes in love. There would be no reason for Jag to even go after Juanita at all. Juanita comes in love. She's always been that. Son just said, hey, Juanita. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys one more chance to ask questions because I don't want to keep Juanita on here too long. She does have things to do. So bring your questions in. Let me see some more questions that you have to ask her. Let me see. Hey, what's up, son? Thank you, Anna. Anna, sir, we appreciate you. It's raining hard in Dallas. Be careful when you guys are driving. Okay. Okay. Now let's ask Juanita another question. Gina, thank you for the donation. Victoria, thank you so much for the donation. Kimya, thank you for the donation. Sanja, thank you for the donation. We appreciate you. It's what keeps the channel rolling. Sadai always shows love. Sadai never comes in here without giving a donation. Okay, somebody says, Kimya says, Cy Sylvester has a beautiful sound and work ethic. Why, with that family name, is she not on top? I don't know. Have you heard Cy Sylvester, Nene, before?
No,
that artist? I've
please
never.
let me know. I love new artists.
Yeah, please
What's the
send
name?
Cy, S-Y, Sylvester, S-Y-L, Silvers. Sorry, Cy Silvers. Wait a minute. Is Cy related to the Silvers family? If so, she got to be, Cy, is it a guy or girl? Cy could be a guy, could be a girl. But if so, I know they got to be incredible because the Silvers family is freaking incredible.
I want to look that name up.
Christian. Christian says, I'm a saxophonist and singer. I do not play keys or guitar, but I write lyrics and melodies. I say get with a good producer, Christian, who can collab with you with your saxophone, and you guys can come up with magic, brother. Yeah, do that, man. Get with me and Meech. You can give it all of us, me, Meech, and Juanita. We can get down with you. We can do some stuff with you, brother. Let us know. Okay, somebody else said, Juanita, don't worry, we're going to get to that, you guys. Matt, Juanita, how can I purchase your music? Hold on. We're going to get to that at the end. You'll be able to know how to purchase our music, Matt. And we're going to close with that. Trust me. I got you. Somebody else has a question for you, Nene. They said, did she sing on Angie's last record, the Christmas song or the last album?
The last record that Angie did, the very last composition that Angie did was the Christmas song that I sang the first verse and the background and the bridge. Angie sang the second verse, and Jay Brown, I call him the warm hug. Jay Brown just came and he just added that extra spice to it. That was the last one that she did before she passed away, the Christmas song. But the last album that she did, I wasn't on that one at all.
Wade Jeffrey said, this is unrelated, but for Brand Artist Coalition, is it an annual or one-time fee? Wade, it's per project. It's per project. but we have the cheapest rates at brand. We're for the artist by the artist. You keep 100% of your royalties. So it's per project. So if you choose a album, you can put up to 20 songs on that one album. If you choose a single, you could have up to, I think it's 5 songs. So a maxi single, but it's per project, brother. Okay, somebody said no. Cy Silvers, I love Cy Smith too. So are they brothers? Cy Smith, Leon's daughters. I believe she sings new. So I guess that's the Silvers family kids or grandkids or something. I know they got to be incredible because the Silvers, Juanita, back in the day were crazy, crazy.
I remember.
Reality. Go ahead, Nene.
I remember.
Yeah, they were crazy. King Meech say, please support you guys. Show some love. Get those hearts up, you guys. Share this live. Okay, somebody has a statement. Independent record company is hard work. This is a wonderful experience when you do it on your own in the long run. Madeline, I've had my independent label since 1994, 93 here in Las Vegas. I was signed to a publishing deal. At the same time producing and still running my independent label. So you're right. It's a lot of hard work, too much work. But if you love it, it's no longer work. Juanita speaks like she can say, oh, no, listen. Bogey Lofty 333. Let me tell you something. Please go to Spotify and follow her Spotify. No, she can sing. He says Juanita speaks like she can sing.
Thank you.
Juanita can get down. Trust what I'm saying to you. That boy can sing. Let me see. Love country music. Let me see who else said. So, let me see. Holograph concert. How about a holograph? Because people in this comments are hilarious. So this is what I'm going to say. We're going to close this out because Juanita does have a life. And I don't want to hold her all day long. But if you were stranded on an island, Nene, and you had one record to get by with, what would that record be?
Lord, it would be a.
See?
You know what? I think something like that would take me to. I think I would just in that environment, in that element. I think I would just want to hear Donny Hathaway's "A Song for You." I think that would just have to take. That would consume me. I've been so many places. I probably reflect on all the things that I've done and all the places that I've been. And see, because Stone, I grew up in group homes and foster homes. And when Angie took me under her wing, statistics would have had it that I wouldn't be or have gone the places.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm with you. We with you. It's okay.
I shouldn't have gone the places that I've gone, because really my heart is for children. That's really, I worked in group homes. I work with kids because of where I come from. So when I write my songs, my lyrics, I try to be careful what I send out into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because I have young kids. I had 2 kids, but I was on my own by the age of 17. But, asking that question, sometimes in life I feel like I'm on an island.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a real question. You know what I'm saying? And lately, losing Jonathan Richmond first and then Angie, that was my writing team, and them being gone, I felt like naked. I felt like on an island, and, I looked to the things to help me grieve, and that would be Jonathan's wife and Angie's children, who I love to this day. But I had something that I had to do on my own, but if I was on an island, Donny Hathaway would have to sing to me all day. A song for you would be the song for me. So I'm sorry for the crying, but life is lifing. And when you do this music thing for a living, because it's a gift that God has given us, and we let someone put a price tag on it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Other than ourselves, you know, a lot of people won't sing no more because they feel like I can't do this. Like, you got a gift, get out there and do it
Period.
by any
Period.
means necessary, and your gift will make room for you. It will come back some kind of way. If that's what you're supposed to be doing, then everything else will find you. You know, and yeah, but that's it, Stone. Okay.
So I got one more question to ask you, and then we're going to close this out. This will be our ending. And then I will I'll let you know where to find her music and all that. Because we have our connection with Angie, I'll say to you, and we don't have to go deep with this, but when you think about everything that happened at the last minute out of the blue, you were the first person to call me when Angie passed away. You sent me a text and it blew my mind, and I immediately called you. Then after that, right after that, I spoke to Shane immediately after that. But in ending this, I'll say this to you, and I'll pose this as a question. Do you find the passing of your beloved sister, Angie, and my friend mysteriously odd? And you don't have to go deep into it. We can end it right there.
Very odd. Very odd. I try to be that person that's not running around. Oh, who did? Or you did you? I try not to be that person because in life, I realize we have to accept what God allows at the end of the day. But is it odd? To me, a lot of it doesn't make sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, Juanita Wynn, Grammy nominated, incredible songwriter, incredible person. Doesn't get better than anyone like her. And trust me when I tell you, I get along with everybody, but there's just certain people that become very special to my life. And she's one of these special people to my life, and she will continue to be. Please tell them how they can find you on social media. Please give all your social media connects so they can follow you, please, Juanita.
I have one thing. I've done gospel and R&B, so people are like, I got some gospel people that are like, you don't love God, you doing R&B. Yes, I do.
Exactly.
But I sing about life, and life is full of love. Life is full of God. Life is full of sadness and happiness. So I have a gospel project called Juanita When You Don't Know. You can get that on Amazon. Um, and a lot of the songs you could just type my name in YouTube, just being real, so you can get to know me and my music better, and you'll hear some things that I've done down throughout the years. And other than that, iTunes. I have a project called this thing called Life that I pulled down that I'm working towards putting back up. So yeah, so
There you go, you guys. Follow Juanita. Is that Juanita Win on all social media, right? Instagram,
yeah. Mhm.
Facebook. So make sure you guys follow her. More importantly, make sure you support her music, you guys. That's important to me. This Stone Paxton Music and Life blog and podcast is about supporting major artists as well as independent artists, as well as writers and producers, and continuously uplifting those that are working hard. You make sure you guys go follow her, support her on Spotify. We're going to bring her back on here when she has another release out. We're going to what she's doing, because as soon as she drops records, they chart just like mine. Every time we drop records, it charts in the UK. And we're going to bring her back on and talk about her future album projects and everything that she has going on, and the future of her contributions to the music industry as one of the most prolific, incredible songwriters. Ladies and gentlemen, Juanita Wynn, thank you for spending your time stopping in, showing her love. We're going to
Thank
catch
you.
up on Stone Paxton Music and
Thank,
Life. Let's go.
thank you.
All right, Nene. Thank you for your time, sweetie.
No problem.
Be safe, okay? Have a great day.
I
Be safe. And go write some more of those hits.
am tomorrow.
I already. Oh, I'm gonna send you some tracks too. I gotta get with you. I'll call you though. All right.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
guys. Send blessings to Juanita. Go follow
Thanks.
her on
Thanks
Spotify.
everybody. Thanks everybody.